Hey everyone, welcome to Easy English with PJ. I'm PJ.
Hi, everyone. I'm Emma. You know what's really scary? Hearing an emergency alert on your phone and not understanding what it means.
A warning comes through. Your phone buzzes. Everyone around you starts moving, and you're standing there thinking, what's happening?
Because you don't know the words. Severe thunderstorm warning, flash flood watch, evacuation order. What do these actually mean?
Picture this. You're in a new country. Sirens go off. An alert pops up on your TV. Tornado warning. Take shelter immediately. But you don't understand tornado. You don't know what take shelter means.
That's dangerous. Weather emergencies happen fast. You need to understand the warnings instantly.
Quick note. Today we're focusing on understanding emergency English. In real situations, always follow instructions from local authorities and official emergency alerts. I see this all the time. People who speak English well in normal situations, but when emergency alerts come through, they freeze. They can't understand the urgent vocabulary.
And they always ask the same question. Why don't I know these words? I've studied English for years.
Emma works with international professionals who need to understand safety information in English-speaking countries.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Weather emergency vocabulary isn't in normal textbooks. You learn sunny and rainy, but nobody teaches you atmospheric river or wind chill warning or evacuation order.
Because emergency vocabulary is specialized. It's technical, and most learners never see it until they actually meet it.
Exactly. And by then, it's too late to learn. You need this vocabulary before the emergency happens.
So today, we're teaching you every weather emergency term you need to know, from thunderstorms to earthquakes, from heat waves to blizzards.
Real vocabulary from real emergency alerts. The exact words you'll see on your phone, hear on TV, and read in government warnings.
Let's make sure you understand every weather emergency, so you can stay safe no matter where you are. All right, Emma, why is weather emergency vocabulary so hard? What makes it different from regular English?
3 reasons. First, it's technical. These are specific scientific and meteorological terms. Second, it's urgent. You need to understand immediately. No time to look up words. Third, it's regional. Different countries use different terms for the same thing.
Give me an example of that regional difference.
Sure. A hurricane, a typhoon, and a cyclone are all the same weather event, just different names depending on where you are. Atlantic Ocean, hurricane. Western Pacific, typhoon. Indian Ocean, cyclone. Same storm, 3 different words.
So, if you only know one term, you might not recognize the danger.
Exactly. Or here's another one. In the US, they say tornado warning. In some other countries, they might say twister alert or just severe storm warning. You need to know all the variations.
What about the urgency part?
Emergency alerts use very specific language patterns. Watch means conditions are possible. Warning means it's happening now. Advisory means be aware but less severe. These distinctions matter. They tell you how urgent the situation is.
So you can't just understand the weather word, you need to understand the alert level too.
Absolutely. Tornado watch means stay alert, check updates. Tornado warning means take shelter immediately. Huge difference. Understanding that difference could save your life.
That makes this vocabulary really critical. So where should we start?
Let's start with the most common weather emergencies: storms and wind. These are what you'll hear about most often in weather alerts.
All right, let's break down storms and wind. Emma, what do people need to know?
We'll cover 15 key terms here, starting with thunderstorms. A thunderstorm is a storm with thunder, lightning, and usually heavy rain. There is a thunderstorm approaching. A severe thunderstorm is more dangerous, with very heavy rain, strong winds, or large hail. Severe thunderstorm warning issued for the area.
What about lightning specifically?
Lightning is the electrical discharge you see during thunderstorms. Lightning struck a tree near the house. When alerts say frequent lightning, it means stay indoors away from windows.
And heavy rain?
Heavy rain means intense rainfall that could cause flooding. Heavy rain expected overnight. This is different from normal rain. It's dangerous amounts of water in a short time.
What's this atmospheric river term?
Atmospheric river is a narrow band of moisture in the atmosphere that brings prolonged, very heavy rain. An atmospheric river is bringing rain all week. This is a newer term you'll hear in weather forecasts, especially on the west coast of North America.
Now, let's talk about tropical storms.
Tropical depression is the weakest form of tropical storm, winds under 39 miles per hour. A tropical depression formed in the Atlantic. Tropical storm is stronger, with winds between 39 and 73 miles per hour. Tropical storm watches issued for coastal areas.
And when it gets really serious.
Hurricane, typhoon, and cyclone all mean the same thing: a tropical storm with winds over 74 miles per hour, extremely dangerous. Hurricane Category 3 approaching the coast. Typhoon making landfall in 6 hours. Cyclone warning for coastal regions.
What about monsoon?
Monsoon is a seasonal weather pattern with heavy rain and strong winds, common in South and Southeast Asia. Monsoon season brings flooding every year. It's not a single storm, it's a whole season of storms.
Now the really scary one. Tornadoes.
Tornado is a violently rotating column of air touching the ground, extremely dangerous. Tornado spotted 5 miles north of the city. If you hear tornado warning, get to the lowest floor of a sturdy building immediately, away from windows.
What about general wind warnings?
Strong winds or high winds mean sustained winds that could knock down trees or power lines. High wind warning until 8 p.m. Windstorm is a storm characterized by very strong winds. Windstorm knocked out power across the region.
And gusts?
Gusts are sudden, brief increases in wind speed. Winds 30 miles per hour with gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Gusts are especially dangerous because they're unpredictable.
What about hail?
Hail is frozen rain that falls as ice pellets. Hailstorm is when lots of hail falls. Golf ball-sized hail reported. Hail can damage cars, break windows, and injure people outdoors.
Last couple of terms.
Dust storm or sandstorm is when strong winds blow dust or sand, making visibility almost zero. Dust storm warning for desert areas. Very dangerous for driving.
And the alert types?
Weather watch means conditions are favorable for severe weather. Be alert. Weather warning means severe weather is happening or imminent. take action now. Advisory means less severe, but still pay attention. Winter storm watch tonight versus winter storm warning in effect.
Those alert levels are crucial. Now, if storms are common in spring and summer, what about winter? What emergency vocabulary do people in cold climates need to know? Let's talk about winter emergencies. Emma, what do people in cold climates need to know?
15 essential winter terms. First, snowstorm is heavy snowfall with strong winds. Snowstorm expected to drop 8 inches. Blizzard is more severe. Heavy snow, strong winds over 35 miles per hour, low visibility for at least 3 hours. Blizzard warning, do not travel.
What's the difference between heavy snow and a blizzard?
Heavy snow is just lots of snow falling. Heavy snow tonight, 6 to 10 inches. A blizzard adds dangerous winds and near-zero visibility. You can have heavy snow without a blizzard, but every blizzard has heavy snow.
What's whiteout?
Whiteout is when blowing snow makes visibility 0. You can't see anything. Whiteout conditions on highways. All roads closed. Extremely dangerous for driving.
Now ice storms.
Ice storm is freezing rain that coats everything in ice. Trees fall, power lines snap. Ice storm caused widespread power outages. Freezing rain is rain that freezes on contact with surfaces. Freezing rain making roads extremely slippery.
What about freezing drizzle?
Freezing drizzle is like freezing rain, but lighter, smaller droplets. Still dangerous. Freezing drizzle creating icy sidewalks. And sleet is frozen raindrops, like small ice pellets. Mix of sleet and snow tonight.
What's frost?
Frost is ice crystals that form on surfaces when temperature drops below freezing. Frost warning for crops tonight, important for farmers and gardeners.
Cold wave?
Cold wave is a rapid, significant temperature drop. Cold wave bringing temperatures 20 degrees below normal. Wind chill is how cold it feels when you factor in wind speed. Temperature 15 degrees Fahrenheit, but wind chill makes it feel like -5 degrees Fahrenheit.
That wind chill is dangerous, right?
Very. Frostbite and hypothermia happen faster with low wind chill. Wind chill warning. Exposed skin can freeze in 10 minutes.
What's black ice?
Black ice is a thin, transparent layer of ice on roads. You can't see it, which makes it extremely dangerous. Watch for black ice on bridges. Bridges freeze first because cold air flows above and below them.
Now avalanche.
Avalanche is when snow collapses and slides down a mountain. Extremely dangerous for skiers and mountain communities. Avalanche warning for backcountry areas.
Last two?
Lake effect snow is heavy snow that forms when cold air moves over warm lake water, common near the Great Lakes. Lake effect snow could bring 2 feet to areas east of the lake. And nor'easter is a strong storm along the U.S. East Coast, bringing heavy snow, rain, and wind. Major nor'easter forecast for this weekend.
So that covers cold weather extremes. But what about the opposite? Heat emergencies are getting more and more common everywhere, right? Now let's talk about the opposite extreme. Heat and fire. Emma, these are getting more common everywhere, aren't they?
Absolutely. Climate change is making heat emergencies more frequent and severe. 8 critical terms here.
Let's start with heat waves.
Heat wave is a prolonged period of excessively hot weather. Heat wave bringing temperatures over 100 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 consecutive days. Extreme heat is similar. Extreme heat warning in effect. Stay hydrated.
What about very high temperature?
Very high temperature is more general. Just stating the temp is dangerously high. Very high temperatures expected this afternoon, reaching 105 degrees Fahrenheit.
Heat index?
Heat index, or feels like temperature, combines temperature and humidity to show how hot it actually feels. Temperature, 95 degrees Fahrenheit, but heat index is 110 degrees Fahrenheit. High humidity makes heat more dangerous because your sweat doesn't evaporate easily.
What about UV index?
UV index warning tells you how strong the sun's ultraviolet radiation is. Higher number means greater risk of sunburn and skin damage. UV index 10, extreme. Seek shade between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m.
Now, drought.
Drought is a long period with little or no rain. Severe drought affecting the region for 6 months. Droughts kill crops, dry up water supplies, and increase fire risk.
Speaking of fire.
Wildfire or forest fire is an uncontrolled fire burning in wilderness areas. Wildfire burning out of control, 5,000 acres. And smoke, or poor air quality, often follows. Smoke from wildfires causing unhealthy air quality. Stay indoors.
That smoke can travel really far, right?
Hundreds of miles. Wildfires in Canada can cause poor air quality in New York. Air quality alert due to wildfire smoke.
So we've covered storms, winter weather, and heat. What about water-related emergencies? Flooding seems to happen everywhere these days. Now, let's talk about water emergencies. Emma, flooding is one of the most common disasters, right?
It is, and coastal areas face additional water hazards. 10 key terms here.
Start with flooding.
Flood is when water overflows onto normally dry land. Flooding expected in low-lying areas. Flash flood is sudden, rapid flooding, usually from heavy rain. Very dangerous. Flash flood warning. Move to higher ground immediately.
Why is flash flood more dangerous?
It happens with almost no warning. 1 minute the road is dry, 5 minutes later there's 3 feet of water rushing through. Turn around, don't drown is the safety message. Never drive through flooded roads.
What about river flooding?
River flooding is when a river overflows its banks. Usually slower than flash floods, but can last longer. River flooding along the Mississippi expected to continue for days.
And coastal flooding?
Coastal flooding happens when ocean water floods coastal areas, often during storms. Coastal flooding warning for high tide tonight.
What about ocean conditions?
Rough seas means dangerous ocean conditions with high waves. Small craft advisory, rough seas expected. High waves or high surf warning means dangerously large waves. High surf warning, waves up to 15 feet.
Rip currents?
Rip currents are strong, narrow currents flowing away from shore. They pull swimmers out to sea. High risk of rip currents today. Swim near lifeguards. If caught in one, swim parallel to shore, not against the current.
Storm surge?
Storm surge is rising water pushed onto shore by a storm, especially hurricanes. Storm surge of 6 to 10 feet expected. This is often the deadliest part of hurricanes.
Tsunami?
Tsunami is a series of huge waves caused by underwater earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. Tsunami warning issued. Evacuate coastal areas immediately. If you feel a strong earthquake near the coast, don't wait for a warning. Move inland and uphill immediately.
Last one.
Red tide, or harmful algal bloom, is when toxic algae grow in the ocean, making shellfish poisonous and causing respiratory problems. Red tide warning: avoid eating local shellfish.
So, water emergencies can come from above with rain or from the ocean. But what about emergencies that come from below, from the ground itself? Now let's talk about ground-related emergencies. Emma, earthquakes and landslides are terrifying because they can happen with no warning.
Exactly. 6 critical terms here, and they're especially important in certain regions.
Start with earthquakes.
Earthquake is when the ground shakes due to movement of tectonic plates. Magnitude 6.5 earthquake struck at 3 a.m. Magnitude measures strength. Under 3.0, you usually don't feel it. Over 7.0 is major and very destructive.
What about aftershocks?
Aftershock is a smaller earthquake that happens after the main one. Multiple aftershocks expected over the next few days. They can be dangerous because buildings already weakened by the main quake might collapse during aftershocks.
Landslides?
Landslide or mudslide is when earth, rock, or mud slides down a slope, often triggered by heavy rain or earthquakes. Landslide warning for mountain areas after heavy rain. Mudslide specifically involves wet soil and is more fluid.
What's a sinkhole?
Sinkhole is when the ground suddenly collapses, creating a hole. Can swallow cars, buildings. Sinkhole opened up on Main Street, usually caused by underground water erosion or collapsed caves.
Now, volcanoes.
Volcanic eruption is when a volcano explodes, releasing lava, ash, and gas. Volcanic eruption began this morning. And ashfall is volcanic ash falling from the sky. Ashfall warning: cover water supplies and stay indoors.
That ash is dangerous?
Very. It damages lungs, ruins engines, collapses roofs if it accumulates. Ashfall making breathing difficult. Wear masks outdoors.
Okay, we've covered all the major types of weather and natural disasters. But I'm sure there are other words that show up constantly in emergency broadcasts. What else do people need to know? We've covered the specific emergencies. Now let's talk about other words you'll hear constantly in weather reports and alerts. Emma, what else is essential?
7 more important terms that appear in almost every emergency broadcast.
Start with fog.
Fog is thick cloud at ground level, reducing visibility. Dense fog is very thick fog. Dense fog advisory: visibility under a quarter mile. Dangerous for driving.
Air pollution.
Air pollution or smog is dirty air, often from cars, factories, or wildfires. Air pollution warning: unhealthy for sensitive groups. Smog specifically is fog mixed with smoke and pollution.
Visibility.
Visibility is how far you can see. Visibility reduced to 100 feet. Low visibility makes driving dangerous. Weather reports always mention this during fog, snow, or dust storms.
Temperature changes.
Temperature drop means temperature falling rapidly. 20-degree temperature drop expected overnight. Temperature rise is the opposite. temperature rise bringing warmer weather tomorrow.
Now, the alert words.
Weather alert or warning notice is a general term for any emergency weather notification. Weather alert issued for the region.
Evacuation.
Evacuation order means authorities are telling you to leave the area immediately. Mandatory evacuation order for coastal residents. Mandatory means required by law. Shelter in place is the opposite. Stay inside, don't go out. Shelter in place due to chemical spill.
Those are critical action words.
Absolutely. Evacuation order means leave now. Shelter in place means stay inside and seal windows and doors. Understanding these could save your life.
You know, sharing all these terms is helpful, but I think people need to know this actually matters in real life. Do you have a story about someone who really needed this vocabulary? Emma got a real example of someone who needed this vocabulary in an actual emergency?
I do. I worked with a student named Kenji from Japan. He'd moved to Florida for work.
Oh, hurricane territory.
Exactly. And he'd never experienced a hurricane. One day, his phone started getting alerts. Hurricane warning, Category 4 approaching, mandatory evacuation.
Did he understand?
He understood hurricane because Japan gets typhoons. Same thing. But Category 4? Mandatory evacuation? Storm surge? No idea.
That's terrifying.
He didn't know what to do. Everyone around him was boarding up windows, buying supplies, leaving town. He just stood there confused.
What happened?
Luckily, a neighbor saw him and explained everything, took him to a shelter, but afterwards he came to me and said, "I need to learn emergency English. I could have died because I didn't understand the warnings."
So, what did you teach him?
We went through every weather emergency term relevant to Florida: hurricanes, storm surge, evacuation orders, flood warnings, tornado watches. We practiced reading real alerts. Within a month, he could read any weather warning and know exactly what to do.
And when the next hurricane came?
He evacuated early, before the mandatory order, knew exactly what supplies to buy, understood every update. He was prepared and safe.
Because he understood the vocabulary.
Exactly. Language skills aren't just for conversation. Sometimes they're literally about survival.
That really drives home why this matters. Now, we've covered so much today. How should people organize all this vocabulary in their minds? Emma, we've covered a lot of terms. How should people organize all this vocabulary so they can actually remember it?
Great question. I divide emergency weather vocabulary into 4 clear categories.
Let's hear them.
Category 1. Natural disasters. These are major events: earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, hurricanes, tornadoes. Big, destructive, often deadly.
So the most serious events?
Right. When you hear these words, it's a serious emergency. Category 2, extreme weather events. These are severe but not always disasters: blizzards, heat waves, severe thunderstorms, flash floods. Dangerous, but often more localized or temporary.
Still serious, just maybe not as catastrophic.
Exactly. Category 3, weather conditions. These describe current weather that might be inconvenient or moderately dangerous: fog, heavy rain, strong winds, frost, rough seas. You need to be careful, but not necessarily in immediate danger.
And Category 4.
Emergency alert words. These are the action words and official terms. Watch, warning, advisory, evacuation order, shelter in place, wind chill, heat index, visibility. These tell you what to do and how urgent it is.
That's a really clear system.
It helps learners organize everything we've taught today. Natural disasters at the top, most serious. Weather conditions at the bottom, least serious. Alert words help you understand urgency and required action.
Okay, so now people know all the vocabulary and how to organize it. But how should they actually learn it and practice it? What's the action plan? All right, Emma, give people a concrete plan. How should they learn and remember all this vocabulary?
Step 1. Research your region. What weather emergencies are common where you live? Coastal? Learn tsunami, hurricane, storm surge, coastal flooding. Mountains? Learn avalanche, landslide, flash flood. Desert? Learn dust storm, extreme heat, drought.
So, focus on what's relevant.
Start there. Master the 5 to 10 terms most likely to affect you, then expand. Step 2. Download official alert apps for your area. In the US, that's FEMA, weather.gov, local emergency management. UK has Met Office. Australia has Bureau of Meteorology. Turn on notifications.
Why?
You'll start seeing real emergency alerts in English. Read them, understand them. This is real practice with actual emergency language. Step 3. Watch local news weather segments in English. They use this vocabulary constantly. Severe thunderstorm watch, flash flood warning, heat advisory. You'll hear the same terms repeatedly, which helps them stick. Step 4. Create flashcards for the 20 most critical terms for your region. Not just definitions. Include what action to take. Tornado warning equals go to lowest floor, interior room, away from windows.
So, you learn the word and the response together?
Exactly, because in an emergency, you don't have time to think. You need automatic understanding. Step 5. Practice reading real alerts. I'll give you sample text. The National Weather Service has issued a flash flood warning for Jefferson County until 8 p.m. Rapidly rising water is occurring. Move to higher ground immediately. Read alerts like this and identify key information. What type of emergency, where, until when, what action.
So you're training yourself to extract critical information quickly?
That's the whole point. In an emergency, speed matters. You need to read an alert once and immediately know what to do.
This is such practical advice. Before we wrap up, let's make sure people remember the most important points. Emma, let's bring this all together. What do people absolutely need to remember?
Here are the key points. 1. Weather emergency vocabulary is specialized. You won't learn it in regular textbooks. You have to study it separately. 2. Alert words matter. Watch means possible. Warning means happening now. Advisory means pay attention. Understanding these levels tells you how urgent the situation is. 3. Focus on your region first. Learn the 5 to 10 most relevant terms, then expand from there. 4. The same weather event has different names in different places. Hurricane, typhoon, cyclone, all the same thing. Know the variations. 5. Emergency alerts use specific phrases. Evacuate immediately. Shelter in place. Move to higher ground. Learn these action phrases. 6. Download official alert apps and enable notifications. Real alerts are your best practice material. 7. Categories help you organize. Natural disasters, extreme weather events, weather conditions, emergency alert words. This structure makes everything easier to remember.
And the bottom line.
Understanding emergency vocabulary isn't just about language skills, it's about safety. Learn these words before you need them, because when an emergency happens, there's no time to look things up.
Emma, this was incredibly important. Thank you.
Thanks, PJ. And to everyone watching, this vocabulary could literally save your life someday.
If this helped you, please hit that like button and subscribe. Share this with anyone living in or traveling to English-speaking countries.
Especially people in areas prone to hurricanes, earthquakes, floods, or wildfires. They need this vocabulary.
Leave a comment too. What weather emergencies are common where you live? What terms do you hear most often? Help us understand what learners need.
Before we go, let's give you today's mantra. Everyone, repeat after us.
I understand emergency alerts. I know the warnings. I can keep myself safe.
One more time with confidence.
I understand emergency alerts. I know the warnings. I can keep myself safe. Write that down. Put it somewhere you'll see it. This isn't just about learning English. It's about being prepared.
Remember Kenji. He didn't understand mandatory evacuation or storm surge. It could have been deadly. But after learning this vocabulary, when the next hurricane came, he knew exactly what to do.
You have the same power now. You understand the warnings. You know what actions to take. You're prepared.
Tomorrow, download your local emergency alert app. Turn on notifications. When an alert comes through, read it carefully. Identify the emergency type, the location, the time frame, and the required action.
Practice makes this automatic. The more alerts you read, the faster you'll understand them.
And one more thing. Don't wait for an emergency to learn this vocabulary. Learn it now, while you have time. Study it calmly. Practice regularly.
Because when an actual emergency happens, your brain needs to recognize these words instantly. No hesitation, no confusion. Just immediate understanding and action.
Start today. Pick 5 terms most relevant to your area. Write them down. Learn what they mean. Learn what to do when you hear them. That's day 1.
Thanks so much for watching Easy English with PJ. Stay safe out there, everyone.
Keep learning, stay prepared, and remember, understanding saves lives.
See you in the next episode.
Bye!